a game changer. Miracle in TV, probably the best thing to have graced Netflix in a while. Hi, what's poppin'? Welcome back to my channel. Back with better weekly chat ever. It's your boy ehis and I'm back again with another video. If this is your first time on my channel, hi. I'm just going to put out a disclaimer. This video is going to be all over the place. Quick summary. I just finished the second season of Sex Education and I must say, I am a changed man. I am not the same person. I want to thank the directors of Sex Education for doing season 2. Y'all deserve a pay rise. Y'all didn't have to, but y'all did. Now, let's get into this video. Very important themes I think the show tackled, and I think tackled beautifully in a comedic sense. Firstly, of course, sex education. I don't think the title is misleading, but when you see the term or the words sex education, you kind of think I'm just, going to learn about how sex operates, yada yada. It's so much more than that, and that's what I think makes it so great. The show deals with sexuality, not just in terms of, the practice of sex and, but primarily in terms of how fluid sexuality is. Blame the school curriculum. According to my knowledge before watching the show, all that existed was heterosexuality, bisexuality, homosexuality. That's all I knew. That's all I was taught. That's where the conversation ended for me. I think it was pansexuality and asexuality the show discussed. I never heard those terms in my life. Ain't nobody explained those words to me in my life, but the show delivered it perfectly. Adam's internalized homophobia. The second theme we're now going to talk about, self-harm. This was primarily seen through Jackson Mackey. I don't know how to pronounce his surname. I think when people think of the issue, are discussing the topic of self-harm, it mainly comes from the fact of, going through something yourself. Sometimes the issue of insecurity is thrown in, but this kind of really just came from parental pressure and the lack of knowing oneself. It's not a conventional plot when it comes to, dealing with self-harm, and to see a show deal with such a serious matter in yet a light way, I think it was done really, really graceful. I think that's the word to use. Graceful. But what I think season 2 saw that was really, 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 really good, consent. Because some of y'all just don't want to learn. 10 out of 10. No, 11 out of 10. I don't know how to coin this term. I guess single mom isolation. Everyone would think Dr. Jean. But also single mom isolation where you are a single mom in a marriage. Because y'all need to give Mrs. Groff all the credits she deserves, because sis stepped into her red bottoms and said, "Hi, check out these avocados. By the way, I want a divorce." Okay, y'all would say she found herself. No, she didn't just find herself. She stepped into her lubes and stepped on y'all's necks, and that's the end of it. It's so crazy that all of this, because that's a lot of content, there's a lot of things that need to be explored, was managed to be done in 8 episodes. 8 episodes. You guys have been watching Grownish for nearly 4 seasons, yet what do we get? When I realized that it's a teenage show, I'd rate the show as 16 personally. 16 to 18-year-olds can watch it. 27 to 30-year-olds can watch it. Moms at 40 to 45 can watch it. Grandparents can watch it too. So I think the show caters for everyone. But what I thought was really great was that it was teenagers dealing with adult problems. And I feel like all the shows for teenagers are primarily based around, people that are 16 to 18. Kind of romanticize, being a teenager, or being in that age. Those other shows basically, they're the most difficult issue. They don't have a prom date. The library girl that's in the chess club accidentally bumps into the football quarterback and the books fall. They make eye contact, then they make eye contact again in the lunch line, then they secretly meet in the library, yada yada, they fall in love, which is great for those that are interested. Count me out. Part 2 of this video. Let us get into the diversity of sex education. Firstly, we're going to just talk about the general diversity of the show. This primarily includes the individuality. Can I pronounce that word? Wow. Individuality Right. We're going to talk about the uniqueness, easier to pronounce, of every single character. You all gotta give it up to the casting director. Honestly, from Maeve, first of all, that girl is a babe. If I was single, hey Maeve, call me ehis Wiley because I'm ready to go. The individuality in every single character is so crazy. Like, if you just look at the representation of the girls, the very eccentric character of Lily juxtaposed with Ola's very, I'd say, hipstery kind of, you know, character. You've got the quirkiness of Amy, for example, that comes through with, I guess she plays like the dumb blonde. Then, you know, you've got the toughness of like Maeve that kind of cuts through that. Like, there's just such a variety in the girls. Like Viv, my favourite character of the show. You've got like a plus size black girl, for example. I wouldn't use the term plus size, but in comparison to that, what we have on the show, yeah. And I just think like when they all come together, it is honestly, I don't know how to describe it. It's just an explosion of confetti. It just makes me happy to see such a diverse, because like anytime, you know, we have these shows that are meant to, you know, represent the average high school / sixth form / college experience, you have the 5'7" till like 5'9" blonde girls, you know, very much Gossip Girl meets Pretty Little Liars. Everything really like fits that same mold. I feel like the characters are literally just people you see in your everyday life, and I think that's what's so great. It's relatable without forcing relatability down our throat. Like, that's what some other shows are doing, where it's like, oh yeah, you can see yourself in these characters. No, I don't. No, I don't. I am a short black man and I do not see myself in Chuck Bass. But now let's get into the representation of the black folk. Absolutely speechless. Vivian, Jackson and Eric. Before I go into this, I will now elaborate as to why I am so happy and content when it comes to that specific point. A lot of shows I've watched growing up, I have never been able to in somewhat see a black experience that, one, I could relate to, but then two, was also vast enough in terms to represent other people as well. We tend to always have the same, the dark skins tend to play, you know, the criminals, and then the light skinned boys then tend to play, you know, the boyfriend that, you know, either cheat or do something that's not redeemable but then always end up redeemable. The black skinned girls then tend to be, you know, the ones that are absolutely sassy with the snarky remarks, and then, you know, the light skinned girls kind of just exist as like I guess trophies in some way, shape or form. That's the general narrative that's always pushed in these shows. In all these different shows you see the exact same trope. When Grownish was now announced, I thought, okay, when I was reading all like the promotional material prior to the release of season 1, I was under the impression this is going to portray, you know, everyday experiences of a black family. Then I saw the poster for Grownish when it was announced, and I was just like, I don't want to say I have a problem with this, but I kind of do have a problem with this. Because every single family that, you know, is in these shows, you can go from My Wife and Kids to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, all these shows, we always see a dark-skinned man, if he's dark-skinned, marrying not someone that looks like him. So either a biracial woman or a racially ambiguous woman, and they have their racially ambiguous kids. If the kids, you know, somewhat look different in colour, for example, like Grownish, you have, you know, the same old narrative. The dark-skinned little girl, the mischievous one with snarky remarks, you know, that can get extremely sassy, kind of, you know, characterizing that boring old narrative of, you know, what a black woman is like. You have the light-skinned boy who's absolutely babied and protected because he's such a precious tool. You barely see any representation of like a dark-skinned boy. You always see these representations of black people by people that are biracial. And now, don't get me wrong, I'm not negating the biracial black experience, but it doesn't necessarily represent the black experience, if that makes sense. Mixed-ish, black-ish, and get the hell off my screen-ish, like, I just couldn't anymore. It was literally the same narrative at different age levels, packaged and repackaged and delivered to us. But now back to Sex Education. When Vivian graced my screen, I had the opportunity to be invited by Google and Netflix to the Sex Education season 2 premiere. Got to meet the cast and had like a nice little after party, and then I literally just saw this dark-skinned girl who looked like any girl that I could have met in my life, and I was just like, oh hi, you know, little conversation. She was just like, oh yeah, I'm one of the new characters in this season, and we only got to watch episode 1, so she hadn't graced my screen yet. In my head I was just like, oh well, this, you know, a dark-skinned girl, great. But in my head I was just praying that, you know, they wouldn't write her in as, you know, the norm. I was so happy when we got to explore this complex character who is literally everything that we've not seen on our TV. Like, it was genuinely a relatable black girl that could have been from your church, could have been from your lecture. All in all, I just love the fact that the 3 black characters represented so many different people at so many different levels. Honestly, I don't know who is in the writer's room for that script, but y'all deserve all the awards y'all are about to get. Favorite moment of the show? I need y'all to understand, I am an emotional person. Me, I cry for fun. But what I need people to understand is I don't cry at TV and I don't cry at movies. Writing an essay and then I realize the deadline is in a month and a bit, and suddenly I'm crying tears because I'm thinking, oh my god, will I get it done, even though I have more than enough time. That's me. I don't cry at TV, I don't cry at movies. However, when they did the Me Too scene, I paused my phone for a good 5 minutes and I was lying in this bed right here and I was crying. No cap. I'm not going to front with you guys. You guys are my friends and I'm going to be honest with you guys. I was genuinely shedding tears. Amy's whole dealing with sexual assault on the bus situation, she obviously was trying to like cope with it. And what I loved so much was the fact that I feel like a lot of shows rush dealing with trauma and overcoming traumatic experiences. And I think with this, they took things from a different angle. So, you know, Amy tried, you know, getting on with it, saying it wasn't that deep. Maeve dragged her to the police. Maeve is a good friend, man. Get yourself a Maeve. But Maeve dragged her to the police station. But then when it got to her, it got to her. And I loved the fact, this sounds so bad, but I love the fact that it got to her well. I think why I was really crying was the fact that I have 2 sisters, 2 younger sisters, and in my head I was just like, what's actually going on in this world? And it's so crazy that a teacher says, oh, find something you guys relate on. They're not talking concealers, they're not talking makeup or lip balm, they're not talking Kylie's lip kit. Sexual assault is something, that's what really baffled me. The fact that sexual assault is what is common to all these girls was so crazy. Hold it together, ehis, hold it together, get it together. I don't support crying on YouTube, so I'm not gonna cry today. But when they were all at the bus stop, I was just like, this is actually it. It was honestly so beautiful to see. And I think it opens room for a conversation around sexual assault and what, you know, people are actually dealing with on a day-to-day basis. The last part of this video is now going to talk about the last episode, because I don't know what mess y'all put on my TV, but I want to return it. Y'all need to leave Shakespeare plays alone, because William is doing cartwheels in his grave right now, because I don't know what the hell that was. I don't know what impressionist type of interpretation y'all want to do, but that's not the Romeo and Juliet I know. And I'm going to leave that at that. Also, rest in peace to the heart of Un Garçon au Fromage, because you got your heart broken for fun. And I kind of saw it coming. I can't lie. Get off my screen. We voted you off the island. Got a text. You're going home. Also, what I really liked is the fact that like all the storylines kind of met at the play. Really scary, but I think really well written. It kind of set us up for season 3. Season 3 has to happen. I'm just letting y'all know now, because y'all laced season 2 with crack, and if I don't get season 3, I'm going to be very upset. Now, Otis's journey of self-discovery has kind of ended. I don't want to use the term ended. I think he's now flipped onto a new chapter, so it's kind of like now on learning, I guess, his dad's toxic traits. Then you've obviously now got Eric and Adam, which I personally, the uncomfortable part isn't the fact that they're gay, it's the fact that Adam really spent a lot of time bullying Eric. I don't know, falling in love with, I don't want to use the term oppressor, but I don't know how I feel about that. So that should be interesting to see. The church, the saints, and the deacon board was rooting for Otis and Maeve's, you know, happy ending, with Otis's declaration of love. Right. Basically, the writer said, psych, y'all ain't finna get that, because that devil in a wheelchair now thought it was appropriate to delete that voicemail. Anyway, I have really gone through every single thing. Let me know what you thought of sex education. You know what? Let's talk in the comments. I'll be replying. What are your thoughts of the show? How did you think season 2 transpired? What are your thoughts about season 3? Who was your favorite character? Who did you hate? And all that kind of stuff. That's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, send it to your friend. And that's it from me for this week. Stay tuned for my next video. Stay blessed, don't stress, never vex, and remember, I really thought I had something like, you know, enlightening and intellectual to say after the remember, but I don't.